Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz. We promised you that during this holy month and of course testing times that we have due to coronavirus, we're going to be bringing you very exclusive programming through Sports Extra on PTV World. And once again, we've got a fantastic program planned for tonight as well. We're going to be talking to someone who was really my childhood hero and still is. I really wanted to bowl like him. I wish I could bat like him at the same time. He brought a new dimension to Pakistan cricket, probably one of the greatest all-rounders of our generation and probably the greatest all-rounders to play for Pakistan, with more than 143 ODIs and 21 test matches, and his county record and T20 career was absolutely phenomenal, the way he was performing in England and all around the world as well. And he brought, like I said, a new dimension, a new flair that came in to Pakistan cricket, and watching him, all of us wanted to replicate that. We had those posters, we had those bookmarks and everything there, what we could have in those certain days as well, desktop pictures on our desktop personal computers as well and whatnot. And I'm so honored to have him tonight on the show. It's like a dream come true for me as well. He's none other than the very legendary Mr. Azhar Mahmood. Assalamu alaikum, Azhar bhai. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for such a nice intro, and thank you very much for having me.
Right, Azhar bhai, it's, I'd like somebody to pinch me right now, because I absolutely mean it when I say that it's like a dream come true for me to actually have you on the show. But I have to ask you some things of the past, and that is, of course, starting from the very first time that you came on the scene to play for Pakistan. How did you see all of that journey and all of that struggle finally paying off?
Oh, it was absolutely, great to be playing for Pakistan. I think it's like what you said, dream come true for you. Talking to me, it was dream come true for me to play for Pakistan. I think, Abbas mentioned to me about you, she was a couple of times in your show, so she was telling me about, you were a big fan of me. Thank you very much for that. Are you talking about journey, my journey? It was dream come true, but it was a roller coaster ride for me. There was a lot of bumpy rides in between. But overall, if I sit back and relax and see myself, play for Pakistan for 3 World Cups and play almost 140 or ODIs. So on that time and period, era, where there were great cricketers, the cricketers who played first-class cricket but never got opportunity to play for Pakistan. So we were very lucky enough to play for Pakistan in that era. So I'm quite pleased with that, and thanks to Almighty.
Definitely, you mentioned a very particular point that there were some great players at that time throughout the circuit in first class and of course in international cricket as well, and definitely you played with a lot of legends yourself as well. How was that experience sharing the dressing room with people who really were there for everybody to see and who were really there for Pakistan?
Like you mentioned, you got on those days, you have a poster on the walls, and I was the same kid, growing up watching my hero Imran Khan, and then Wasim Akram, Javed Miyadad. These guys were my heroes, and I used to have poster in their poster on my walls. When coming to the Pakistan dressing room, the likes of Waqar Yunus, because these guys, from the guys from UBL, I played with them, so they know me. But like Salim Malik, Ijaz Ahmed, and all these guys. Sharing the dressing room with these guys, is felt more nerve-wracking than playing against India, to be honest. When I played against India in first game, so there wasn't enough pressure on me playing against India. I got more pressure while I was sharing the dressing room with these legends.
Well, that's really great to know, like you said as well. Definitely something for all our viewers who are watching you there as well. But you had that flair, that aggression, whether it was bowling, whether it was batting. We could never judge which one was your actual favorite.
To be honest, I don't know either. As a child, when I was playing, at school level, I was bowling off spin and open up batting. And then later on stages, when I grow up, I get a slightly bigger and, try to bowl medium pace. And that's where it started. But, playing in club level and first class level, I preferred batting than bowling. But I was selected as a bowler wherever I go. So people don't know about my batting. So but that childhood, when I'm playing club cricket and first class cricket, not even first class, club cricket, school level cricket and street cricket. So where I used to open the batting. So that thing, really helped me and especially 97 tour, Pakistan A tour when we came to England. That really helped my batting, playing a swinging ball and seaming ball in England and get a lot of runs here. So that really helped me to become a proper all-rounder.
All-round abilities as well, and you have so many memorable performances for Pakistan when you appeared on the scene, great hundreds against South Africa at the same time as well. One of our really regular feature of Sports Extra, part of the team as well, Ali Mehdi, had this very particular question for you, and that was about your 100 that you got against South Africa at the very early stages. How was that feeling once you knew that you've gotten to that milestone?
Oh, the first 100 on my debut, like it was, as I mentioned, it was bumpy rides throughout my one-day career, and then I got opportunity to play in Rawalpindi in front of my hometown, home crowd as well. So, and then dream come true, and I was batting at number 8. I remember, first day I was not out at 4. The second day, I think, if I remember correctly, I was 72 not out because it was a half day because rain happened, and then the last day I got a highest partnership with Mishibai, which is 151, I think, on the last wicket. So it was great game of cricket, great 5 days of my life. I would say, I was on 5 days. I was on the ground, either I'm doing batting or bowling in any capacity. I was on the field for 5 days. So yeah, I missed my 100. That was my first class 100 actually, and I missed my couple of 100 when I was in tour of 97 to England. Playing with the tail, and I was greedy to get to the 100. But in that particular, I thought, God go, I will get 100. Otherwise, I won't. So I was patient enough to be choosing the right ball at the right time. So in the end, I had a wonderful innings, even first inning and second innings as well, 50 not out on the inning as well. So it was great memories. It was great memories. I went back to Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium right now when I was talking to you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that you've been taken back, and these are great memories for us as well. Once we still get to see all those videos we can pull out from YouTube of you performing everywhere around the world as well. But in particular, once you started playing county cricket as well, how was that experience? Definitely a lot to learn, I'm sure, at the same time, but playing with players from all around the world in those conditions.
As you mentioned, county cricket, unfortunately my career finishes, the test career finishes before I played in county cricket. So my last test match was in 2001. I started playing county cricket in 2002, which is I think I underachieved for Pakistan, and some odd reason, I didn't get picked, never got another opportunity to play for Pakistan. That's life. You have to move on. But I learned a lot, like I was 24 when my career was finished. I was not sure about my own game, how to develop innings and how, because as you mentioned, I bring that flair. So that was natural instinct for me to come and play that type of cricket, that brand of cricket. But, when I learned after playing county cricket, when I understand my game, when I understand my abilities, and I never got that opportunity to play for Pakistan again, which is fine. And then the same thing, similar kind of thing happened in one-day cricket as well. Till 2001, I was playing regularly for Pakistan, and then after that, the 5-6 years, I hardly played about maybe 30 or 35 ODIs, but never bowled. I think in 3 of them I bowled 10 overs. Rest of them was coming in, bowling, and going all over. But like you mentioned, playing county cricket, and then went to play in all the franchise league, like IPL and Big Bash and all these. That's really helped me to become a better player and a better person as well, because when you sharing the dressing room with these legends of the game, and you can find out how they prepare, how they do before the game, and how they relax after the game, when they perform well and when they're having a tough game. So how they handle the pressure on and off the field. So I learn a lot from that prospect.
I'm sure, definitely. And Azhar bhai, because you've been part of cricket at a time when it was very difficult, including the system, very selective cricket being played, very competitive. Now we see so much cricket being played throughout the world, including the advent of T20, then T10, now with the prospect of the 100 coming up very soon. How do you see this evolution of cricket that you've seen over the years now?
It's been brilliant, for our time, you only played two formats, one days and test match cricket, but definitely, T20 cricket and T10 and now 100s, bring a lot of other viewership from the other people, and they are coming into the game and they come and watch the game. If you ask someone to come and watch test match cricket, but if asked for test match cricket, it's ultimately test for a cricketer, but if you ask non-cricketing guy to come and watch test match fighters, he won't do it. But if you ask him to come down and watch a T10 game or T20 game, 3-hour game, it's like going to watch football. So definitely, these things great for the game. And you see, before that, you hardly see any result during the test matches, but now you see a lot of test matches, see a lot of result in test matches as well. And definitely, as player point of view, your game enhance, which is either you do bowling well, your skill is getting better and better. You see those kind of shots, the players play 90 miles an hour, and on a Yorker you play a paddle or a reverse sweep. All these things, that's because of T20 cricket. And then the other side, if you see the bowlers, they are more skillful. They have more varieties. They have more variation in their army, and I think this is great for the cricket.
Definitely it is. Azhar bhai, please stay with us. We're going to go towards a very, very short break, but when we come back, we'll be discussing Azhar Mahmood's transition from a player then obviously to a coach as well, and obviously his time with Pakistan cricket team as a bowling coach as well, right after this very short break. Stay tuned to Sports Extra. Welcome back to Sports Extra with me, Ahmed Nawaz. We're in conversation with one of the greatest all-rounders of our time, Mr. Azhar Mahmood. Azhar bhai, I want to ask you something very particular, and that is, of course, your transition from a player to something what we can of a coaching role or role which has guided so many youngsters and so many players all around the world as well. How has that transformation been for you?
Oh, it's been great. I never thought I'll be coach one day, but that happened while I was playing for Surrey, and because they want me to become as Surrey bowling coach, but I want to play cricket, so they said, we got a really young guys, Sam Curran, Curran brothers, Sam Curran and Jay Dunbar. So they said, we want these guys to grow, and we want you to guide them. I said, listen, I can guide them, while I'm playing. I think in T20 format, if I can be with them on the field, because the game is so fast, you have to make a decision on the spot. So I can help them better rather than sitting in the dressing room and giving them instruction. And Alex Stewart, because he was played with him and he's a good friend of mine, so he understands that thing. And then he said, yes, you can do that role, well, player coach. So that's how it started. And then when I was playing in 2016, I was playing, and then Wakar Bhai called me and asked me about, if I interested, because I think Mishibai left at that time, so he asked me if I'm interested to do that role, because he knew I'd done with Surrey. So I said, yeah, definitely I will do that. And from there on, I start that journey. And then got a contract in 2016, full-time contract with Pakistan for 2 years. And Alhamdulillah, I'm proud of what we achieved in that period of time. And because when I joined Pakistan team, we got very young guys coming up like Shaheen Shah Afridi, Hassan Ali, Fahim. All these guys were really young. They hardly played any first-class cricket or any cricket behind them. And see them growing, every day, every single day. It's great to see them growing.
That is absolutely amazing. And obviously you talked about the current brothers and of course Dernbach as well, and all of them went on to play for England as well. So that really tells us about your role with them as well.
And Jordan as well. Chris Jordan.
Oh, what a fantastic legend he himself is. I'm sure he was great fun to work with as well, with his mimicry and humor that he possesses.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. I've seen him. He was playing for Surrey, and then he went back to Sussex, then come back to Surrey again, and now he's playing for England. So it's been great working with him, and he's a wonderful guy to work with, and he wants to learn. That's very important for any cricketer. Any coach. If your student wants to learn new things, so he's willing to do that. So you go extra yard with those kind of people.
Definitely. Azhar bhai, how do you see, like you mentioned, all of that young talent that you got to work with Pakistan as well? Now the game and its dynamics are continuously evolving, but we've got some great guys on the scene. You've also been involved in the PSL with the Multan Sultans as well at the same time as well. I'm sure a lot to see at that side as well. How do you see all of this transformation, and especially the new talent that Pakistan has been bringing up to the big stage?
There's never a doubt in Pakistan. Talent-wise, especially in fast bowling department, we always get from somewhere, like of Wasim Akram and Shoaib Akhtar, and then Naseem Shah. All these guys, they come from nowhere, and suddenly, like Arslan coming from nowhere and bowling at 90 miles an hour. So that's Allah's mercy on us as a nation, because these guys are very talented and very skillful, and if you guide them properly, and like we got Hassan, like now we can put different bowlers for different formats, like T20, 50 overs and Test match cricket. Like we had a problem recently. Two our main bowlers were not playing Test match cricket, and then these things started. So I think if we can groom these guys to play red ball cricket and white ball cricket after that, so that'll be great for Pakistan cricket. So you can manage their workload, you can manage their skills. If someone has, like Roman Reis, he was very good with his skills, so you can use him as a T20 specialist or one-day specialist. So you have different kind of bowlers for different formats, so you can use them properly.
We definitely can, and we must ask you at the same time, there's been a great initiative out there about dream pairs. Who would you like to bowl with from the past and the future? We're still waiting what your dream pair is going to be.
I sent the video, I think yesterday, to cricket board. They asked me, so I can tell you, I would love to have a pair with Imran Bhai, because Imran Bhai was my ideal. I become an all-rounder because of him, so I would like to have a pair with him with both, bat and ball. But they are batting and bowling both, so I would go with Imran Bhai. And from young lot, I will go with Shaheen Shah Afridi, because he's very talented and very skillful, and I've seen him growing, day by day. So I will go with him. And batting wise, I will go with Father Azam, because his timing, his shot selection, and his ability to hit good ball for 4 is remarkable.
Certainly remarkable. That is an amazing player that you've selected. Would you agree with your experience that you've seen around the world that with the advent of the Pakistan Super League, there certainly has been a great platform now to highlight talent, because since it has been there, we've seen so much being fed to Pakistan cricket in general in the likes of Shadab Khan, Hassan Ali, we've got Fakhar Zaman at the same time as well. Do you think this league is very important to feed Pakistan for future cricket?
Yeah, definitely. You see, like you mentioned, all these players coming from PSL. So PSL is a big brand now. So, and because you can see the players on TV and your heroes playing in front of you, so which is really good. Like we were playing in Dubai, so you hardly see any crowd coming to watch the game. But this year, we played a whole PSL in home grounds, and I've seen some scenes, especially in Multan when we were going to the ground, and I've seen a lot of people, standing throughout the journey, standing on next to the road, and they were clapping and cheering for us. So I haven't seen anything in Pakistan, even at that time when 90s when we were playing. So this is a remarkable thing to see. And then definitely when you're playing in Abu Dhabi and Dubai pitches, the par score was 140, 150, and when you came back home, because the pitches are better and the ball flies in Pakistan because of the pitches, and suddenly you see the score is going from 140, 150 to 180, 190, and even 200. And you see, if we play another 2-3 years at home, so our batsmen will have more opportunity to make big runs, and then bowlers, they will find different way to defend runs. So I think it will be a great sign for Pakistan cricket, and it has been since PSL started, and we see so many people being freed up from PSL to Pakistan national team.
Inshallah, we definitely hope so. Azhar bhai, finally I must ask you, with probably the lockdown in place all around the world, unfortunate times this for the world right now, but at the same time I'm sure you're finding a lot of activities at home as well, but definitely players must need to remember that they still need to maintain their fitness even while staying at home. Right, there's a technical difficulty. We're in conversation with Azhar Mahmood, one of the greatest all-rounders of our generation, and he's mentioned some very particular points as well, and we're just discussing about the PSL and how it's been feeding Pakistan cricket at the same time as well. So many youngsters getting a platform to come back onto the stage as well, and rightly pointed out by Azhar bhai when we asked him about the dream pair as well, and he said that he wanted from the past to bowl or bat, it had to be the greatest cricketer from Pakistan, and that is of course the great Imran Khan, now the Prime Minister. He said that he would love to bat and bowl with him as well. Azhar bhai, I wanted to ask you that in these testing times, it's very important for players to stay fit, and this is something that needs to be given importance even while staying at home.
Yeah, definitely. At home, you can do only certain things. Unfortunately, you can't really go and do. And apart from Misbah, I think Misbah got some pitch at his house, and a lot of guys have their gym at their house, but not many people have this ability to have a gym in their houses. So it's very tough for them. But you have to stay fit. But you can do body weight exercises. There's a lot of exercises you can do without the weight, jump lunges and squats and all these burpees you can do, and you can get yourself fit. It's a tough time for everyone around the world. So, but you can do at night. You can go for cycling and stuff like that. So to get yourself fit.
Get yourself fit, but you've been finding a lot of good time with the family as well. We saw you playing mini golf, and then it became a pool table at the same time in your living room.
Yeah, my son loves playing golf, and I always take him to golf, like a mini golf and on driving age. So, but because of the lockdown, we can't go outside. So he got some dinosaurs, small dinosaurs, and he said to me, that was not my idea. That was his 4-year-old. So he said, why don't we make mini golf at home? So that's how we started, playing mini golf. And then he wants to play snooker and football game, so I ordered some small games for him. So I thought, okay, I find my snooker cue as well. So I thought, okay, let's play snooker with my snooker cue, a small pool table with my snooker cue. So that's what I was doing with him. And make them busy is very difficult, especially at lockdown, and you can't go outside, and you have to entertain them all the time. So that's it.
Definitely, that is an interesting factor of that as well. Azhar bhai, I'm tempted to ask you about the system that is now in place in Pakistan. Definitely tends to be mixed opinions from everybody, but for someone who's played for Pakistan as glorified as you have been, how do you think about the system now in place in Pakistan? Definitely there's a lot of focus now on cricket being played in particular, the structure being changed at the same time as well. But unfortunate to see that we don't see that level of club cricket that was being played once you were around the circle as well.
Yeah, definitely, like club cricket is dying, and school cricket and college cricket is dying. There's no much cricket left. So unfortunately, we were playing first class cricket, and I think I like that structure right now because you got 6 teams, but I would like to have more teams, like 8 to 10 first class teams with the similar kind of structure. You're playing second 11 and then under 19 and 15 and 13. So you go down that level. So I think I really like this year. If you see the result this year, you can see a lot of runs being scored, a lot of 100 being scored this year, and that will help our batsmen to go and build their innings, convert those 40 to 50 and 70 to 100. So that will help our batsmen. And then we see this year the highest wicket taker was spinner, and you see this year a lot of fast bowler bowled the second spell and third spell, which we have problem when we were part of the coaching system. So our guys were used to bowling, like the first spell, and then that's it. So this structure will help develop genuine fast bowlers, because the fast bowler, when the pitches are flat, you're using Kookaburra balls. When it's nothing to offer, you run in and try to bowl fast. That will help your fast bowlers, and then coming back for the second spell and the third spell, so you can use that reverse swinging ball. So reverse swing will come back in that particular time, and then your batsman get more runs, and your spinner will be back again, because they can bowl a lot of overs. And you can see this year's particular first class season, a lot of spinner get a lot of wickets this year because of that.
Absolutely. Azhar bhai, thank you so much for taking out so much time for us here at Sports Extra. It's been, like I said, my dream come true, but I think all the viewers out there, your fans, have certainly had a great treat tonight watching you on our show as well, and we cannot thank you enough for your time here at Sports Extra.
No, thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much for having me. I just need to go and do the Sari time now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good luck with that. Allah bless you and your family. Thank you so much. That was the great Azhar Mahmood, the legend himself, on Sports Extra. And you've heard all the conversation from his career, the journey that he mentioned. Of course, a bumpy ride, but then again, playing for Pakistan is one of the dreams that comes true to very few people who are blessed by the Almighty as well. And what a great career that he has had. Like I've always keep on mentioning, that he brought a new dimension to Pakistan cricket, a new evolution. We saw that great bowling at the same time. We saw that great batting at the same time. A great athletic fielder he was. All combined together, a great all-rounder for Pakistan. Like I keep on mentioning, one of the greatest that we're going to see in our generation as well. And that's where the trend kept on being set, because these are people who actually then defined cricket at the same time as well. People like me, so many other people out there then actually wanted to be the next Azhar Mahmood, wanted to bowl like him, wanted to bat like him with the all-round abilities as well. And that's definitely helped us in our, amateur careers of cricket, I can say, at the same time as well. But great to hear from his experience, his transition from a player to a coach, and then the level of county cricket that he's played in England is something very, very special. Then playing limited overs cricket all around the world in all different kinds of leagues with more than 200 T20 games at the same time as well, and performing in all of those games, each and every one of those leagues, has certainly been special. Then, of course, joining Multan Sultans as a coach as well. His time with the Pakistani team as a bowling coach. All of those very, very special moments tonight at Sports Extra. We'll be joining you next time once again with a very, very special guest. Till then, stay safe, stay at home, and make sure that you follow the guidelines given by the government definitely in these testing times. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.